you don't really know you. You don't really know who you are, and you do not know, you haven't really tapped into your true potential. And I said, give yourself the same opportunity and the chance.
You're listening to the No Labels, No Limits podcast with best-selling author Sarah Boxx. We focus on the mantra, no labels, no limits, no excuses. And now without further ado, please welcome your commanding coach with plenty of chutzpah and heart, Sarah Boxx.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the No Labels, No Limits podcast. As you know, I'm your host, Sarah Boxx, and each week we bring you incredible stories from individuals who challenge the status quo, rewrite limiting narratives, and embrace the full power of who they are. And I've got to tell you, I'm still laughing because we've spent probably 15 minutes before I hit record just gabbing together. I'm not going to say what we said, but it was funny. You should have been there, and it probably wasn't totally appropriate. So
Right.
it was fun. So I'm going to tell you, today's guest is Dr. Shaurice Mullins, and she is a serial entrepreneur, best-selling author, globally recognized business strategist, and she has more than 25 years experience transforming lives and organizations. She is known as the blueprint of invincibility. She inspires action, legacy, and leadership by combining cultural intelligence with cutting-edge business innovation. I'm going to add to that of my own accord that she brings a sense of real-life experience and humor to challenges. She's the powerhouse behind the Elite Group, Elite Disaster Consulting International, and Shaurice Mullins International Multiple Initiatives that span from the U.S. to Gambia. So this is kind of a hilarious thing to me. She's the mother of 9 and grandmother of 9. And if that doesn't seem like resilient leadership, I'm not exactly sure what is. So we're going to talk about how we can own our own superpowers, what hers is, and how to build true wealth and lead a life that leaves legacy level impact in however you define it. So with that, let me formally welcome Dr. Shaurice Mullins to the No Labels, No Limits podcast. Hi, Shaurice.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited about being here. And thank you so much for the 15 minutes of conversation.
Oh my God. You know what? Sometimes you just need it. I'm thinking, okay, for me in my time zone, it's midday. I've got more in my afternoon to do. And I'm thinking, oh, I wonder if I'm up for this. And then I'm just laughing with you. I'm full of energy. I'm thinking, this is so cool. And now I can see how you just engage people so much. Yeah. But I do want to start with talking about your work that revolves around invincibility, because that's a pretty powerful word. And then you have a book, The Invincibility Code, not cold, The Invincibility Code. When did you first recognize that as your superpower? And then how has that kind of shaped your life and leadership?
Yeah, so back in 2000, I would say around 18, I had been, in corporate America working disaster recovery, which some people ask me, am I a bit crazy because I've been doing it 25 years? But I've always been a person that likes to fix things, to come in, see a problem, fix it. Let's get it done. Let's see the end result. And so I got burnt out. And in 2018, I realized, I've been having my resume used. I've been divorced. I've had children that I've raised on my own. I've experienced so many things, and I had so much belief in others and so much belief in other people's ability, but not much in my own. And so I had this situation, which I won't go into at work, to happen. And I said, you know what? Why do I believe so much in him, but I don't believe in my ability to do this on my own? And so I had a meeting with myself in the mirror. True story. I went in the mirror and I just stood there and looked at myself. And I realized, you don't really know you. You don't really know who you are, and you do not know, you haven't really tapped into your true potential. And I said, give yourself the same opportunity and the chance that you give others to, to have greatness or to perform great. And so it was that at that time and that experience in that moment that I gained the confidence to just get up, try doing my own business, because I had lost so much. I had a business with my ex-husband, lost everything, ended up broke on welfare, just started life all over, raised kids, and it was like, this is really hard. And it was at that moment that I realized you can do whatever it is you believe you can do. We are belief expressed. And from there, I gained the confidence and I started seeing results. You can't have on the outside what you don't believe on the inside. And so, and then the next thing you know, it went from believing I could launch the business to believing I could make money in it to believing that I could make millions, and it all happened. Now,
well, that's not very long ago.
No, it's not. We're looking at 7 years ago.
Yeah.
7 years ago when I said, I'm going to do this. Because if I've been managing projects and running disasters all around the world for other companies, why couldn't I do it for me? That was the question. Why can't? And it was just, you don't believe in yourself the way you believe in this person or that person. And so it wasn't too long ago. And now no one can tell me what I can and can't do because I've done it over and over and over. So it's about believing, and not just believing, but knowing what you possess.
Okay, so you talk about invincibility as a superpower for you, and that it's one of the things you think we should all know about ourselves. So I guess my first question, because I have lots for you, is how did you arrive at invincibility? And then how could I figure out my superpower?
Okay, so invincibility to me is the ability to operate well under pressure and not break. It's not denying the pressure. It's not denying that you fell down and scraped your leg. A matter of fact, you can see the blood, but does the blood or does the scratch or the scrape or the thing that hurt you, does it stop you? When you experience this pain, do you choose to run in the corner or do you go and grab your cape? And if you choose to go and grab your cape and become that superwoman in the midst of it, you've tapped into your invincibility. You've tapped into the knowing that I possess the power to overcome whatever I'm facing. It's not better than me. It's not bigger than me. It's not greater than I am. And so when I started tapping into it, I realized that, I've had a lot of failures in my life. Oh, God, and we don't even have enough time on this session to talk about all the things that I've failed in life. But that is why I'm successful. A lot of people see failure as being separate from success. I do not. I see it as a part of it. And so when you
say a little bit more about that.
Yes, when you see failure as a part of success, you embrace learning lessons. A lot of people do not embrace learning hard lessons. They go, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening to me. It's over. Oh my God. They immediately tap into a victim. I'm the victim. Rather than sitting back and saying, so really going into metacognition to really think about thinking. So you really think, what is my advantage in this? What is my advantage? Or how can I benefit from this thing that seems to be so bad? I practiced that from going through so many things that would seem to be bad, so many failures, so many bad decisions. And I'm the first to admit it, I've made quite a bit of, I can't say bad decisions. I've just made choices that were not the best for me. And I had reasons for it. And justifiable reasons. I thought, okay, yeah, I'm making this decision because this person did this or this person did that. Not even realizing I'm just not accepting responsibility and taking control of my life. So I look at invincibility and the blueprint to it. And I wrote the invincibility code because I really believe that those 7 things, those 7 codes in that book are all of the things that I learned to master in order to overcome whatever it is that I may be facing. I mean, and from losing people to, the death, experiencing the death of my father to, losing my children before, having to get myself together to get them back, hit the reset button on my life, to going to losing everything, all of my businesses before, to sleeping on the floor with my children, just everything, just those reset buttons. And what I realized is it's in how I see it. When you hit the ground, there's nowhere to go but up. And it's all about how you see being on the ground. So
that's really important, because you don't use these words, but you reframe your situations from like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to recover from this, to, okay, there's nowhere else to go but up. Right?
That's it. I'm here now. I'm here now. And then what I mean by taking advantage, when you can step back from something and say, okay, so I'm on the floor. What is the advantage here? Some people would say there is no advantage to being on the floor. For me, it's, well, I can regroup and do it better. I can, if I built a team and it's falling apart, this is my opportunity to get a better team. This is my opportunity to wait for the universe to have me at the right place at the right time, to meet the right person, to take my life in a different, to shift the trajectory of my life. So I do a lot of reframing.
Yeah.
I do a lot of reframing. Okay, so this is this frame. How do I want the next frame to look?
Well, you talked earlier about believing, right?
Exactly.
It's the creation.
Right. So if I want the next frame to be different, I got to project different. I can't say, oh, I want the next frame to be different, but I don't believe that it can be. I just believe that we possess the power to have, do, and be what we desire if we truly know that we possess the power. And so sometimes it's different to hear someone else talk about it. It's someone else talk about it. That's just talking. How much of it have you experienced? How many times have you been on the floor and you pull yourself back up? When you do anything, enough, you start saying, oh, this is not the worst that I've ever been through.
No, I mean, on a serious note, I was interviewing this gentleman, I think it was Monday, and that all blends together sometimes. So it's late in my day, later in his day, and he has a very similar philosophy, right? And he said, but I learned it at 10 years old. My mom died. Mm-hmm. And he said, ever since then, I thought I've already experienced the worst day of my life. And as he's telling me this, he is in the process of a chemo process, right? His cancer has come back. He goes, but I've already had the worst day of my life.
That's it. When you start realizing, oh, this is not my worst pain. This is not the time that I cried the most. When I lost my dad, it was uncontrollable. It was nothing that I can do. What did I do then? I accepted that this is something that has happened. I processed through it and I say, okay, so what do you do now? What's the next steps? You get up every day. No, you do not have the Sunday calls. No, you do not experience the dinners or the lunches with him anymore, because that's no longer part of your reality. But what do? You accept it. And
don't you feel your dad around you anyway?
Oh, yes, all the time.
It's a different lunch.
Exactly. He's in my dreams. And sometimes I find myself sitting down like, Dad, I need you to help me. I know you're watching me. I know you're watching me. So help me out a little bit, give me a little guidance here and there. And you know what? It really works.
It does for me. I mean, I have had many conversations with my mom, or I'll just pause and go, okay, why am I wrapped up in this too much, right? And then I can hear her wisdom come through. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if people think that's wacky or not, but I've heard it and it's very grounding. And I'm thinking, okay, thanks. That's what I need right now.
I don't care if they think it's crazy or not. I remember one of the things he said to me, on the last day he was here, he asked me, are you truly happy? And I said, I am. He said, no, I'm serious. Are you truly happy with you? And I had to stop to say, oh my God, no, I'm not truly happy with me. I'm content with me and what I'm doing for everyone else. But when I had to accept, hey, I'm not really experiencing what would be my true happiness. And that was transformative for me. I said, you know what? I'm going to start with everything I do. I'm going to start thinking about, am I doing it for them or am I doing it for me?
Yeah, I mean, that's an honest question, and it's not an easy question.
I don't think it
I mean,
wasn't at
it's
the
easy.
time.
No, I mean, it's easy to have one of those glib answers. Oh no, I've thought about this and stuff. I'm going, really? Because if you really thought about it, I'm not sure you'd be having this
I
conversation.
know, right? I think he knew. Like you're not. You're just going with the flow. And so I had to, and I was 44 at the time, and I just said, I'm not really experiencing life the way I want to, and I need to be doing something a little bit different. And it changed my life. And so now, in everything that I do, whether it's business, personal relationships, even with my children, I say, am I doing this for them? Am I doing this for me? And so even I've had to turn down contracts just because it's like, I don't think this is a good fit. I mean, thank you for wanting me to manage your disaster, but I just don't think this is a good fit. And some people would say, yeah, that's money, girl. You better take it. But I looked at how the relationship would be and
Yeah.
if it would really be a happy experience for me. And it's like, no, I think I'm going to pass on this. So
When you go with your intuition on things like that, have found, and I'm wondering if it's the same for you too, that it's actually better for the client as well. They
it
will
is.
find someone that's a better fit.
Yeah. And then like 3 or 4 months later, I'm on a federal platform and I see they have another contractor who's taking the contract and it worked out very well for them. Hopefully it did. Either way, I'm just like, I feel deep down inside that I made the best
Yeah,
decision
yeah.
to do something different. And I think that is a lot of that all ties into your previous question about invincibility. It all ties into, am I following the code that makes me invincible? We all have a personal code to invincibility. My book is about giving you my 7, but we all have a code that pretty much makes us invincible if we can find it and really seriously apply it to our lives. I found that me realigning my values fortified my code. Me realizing that happiness was my top one. Integrity is number 2. If I can't be in integrity with myself, I'm not going to be in integrity with you. And
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? And so number 3, and I align all of them, and I also talk about them in the book as well. But when you align your values, you find your code to what makes you who you are.
It comes back to, I like what you said about aligning and your values. That becomes the foundation.
It does.
And then the other things filter through it. So when you get offered something that someone else would say, man, that's the best opportunity, it's not that difficult to go, it's not a bad opportunity. It's not a good opportunity for me.
For me, because number 3 is peace for me. And when I realized, I don't think I'm gonna have a lot of peace in this working relationship, so I don't think I want to deal with it. So when you do that, you have some people where family and relationships, connection, is their top value. Like no matter what's going on, they need their family around. They need these things. And if you start shaping your life where you're constantly with your family, you'll find that you become invincible if that's one of your top values. And so, but I think we need to sit down. It's important that people sit down and figure out, what really motivates me, what is really important to me. And that lays the foundation for invincibility. It really does.
And that's an honest conversation that you really have to have with yourself. So let's talk though, because I would imagine that you would be coaching people, executives and folks through that process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about your Ascend executive coaching and how you do that work?
Okay, so Ascend is the new coaching program that I'm launching. It hasn't really launched yet, but what we're doing in Ascend is we're taking individuals, which you have to be a business owner. You have to have already been in that business at least 3 years so that you can show, okay, I've performed, but I've failed at some things and I've been really great at others. And what we're doing is it's launching in September. And what we're doing with this new coaching program is we're taking executives and we're saying, okay, we're mixing emotional intelligence, human design, and business principles all together. So I really believe that when you know who you are and you're not doing a cookie cutter for a business, when someone tells you these are the 10 steps of how to run a successful business, not necessarily. It's 10 steps for you. It may not work for me, but I think the most important thing is to understand, how am I designed? How do I work? Am I a generator? Am I the person that everyone on the team can go to and say, okay, Shaurice is going to generate it. She's going to have the vision. She's going to tell us, okay, this is the end goal, and then everyone else with the expertise in between, or is she's going to be the one to carry it across the goal line? Me personally, I learned I'm not it. That's not me. I'm not the nitpicky, filling out a detailed person. I'm the big picture person. I can tell you, if we do this, it's going to lead to that. Now, I need someone in this room, on this team, to put all these little details together if this is going to be successful. Because if you're waiting for me to do it, I'm going to drop the ball somewhere because I have 10 other things going on. I'm not the person to do that. And I had to accept that about me. You know, it's not that it is a weakness. It's just not my makeup. If I'm the person that believes that we can go to the moon and set and grow flowers there and then stay as long as we want and then come back. That's big picture. And then when someone says, well, how do you propose that we're going to do that? I can still tell you, well, if we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's simple. And then they say, okay, that's great. Okay, so how do you implement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Now that's up to you. Like that's what I had to realize about myself, because I was on teams and I realized I'm not fully committing to taking this across the finish line like I should. Why is that? It's because it's not it's not the way that I'm designed. I'm designed a little bit different. And so I think
that's why we have teams.
Exactly. And I think that is a part. That's what Ascend is about. It's about identifying people's leadership styles. How do you lead? And if you can identify that, who do you need around you? You know what I'm saying? Who do you need around you to implement this goal and carry it across the finish line? Because it may not be you.
It may not be. And it's an interesting thing. I did a one-on-one retreat with one of my executive folks. And, you know, her business is a business within a business. Mm-hmm. So some of their services are paid for by the other business. So they are locked into a structure, which puts an artificial label on people. And I said, so I don't really care what their job description is. I said, because we're going to not worry about that. But we spent time talking about what's her code? Like, where is she shining? Where does she need to be? Where does she want to be? Right. And we had like flip chart stuff up there. I'm just writing stuff down for her.
Just getting into it.
And I said, what up here what up here? I said, what's up here that you could delegate? And she sat and she goes, almost all of it. Mm-hmm. Because she's got no time, you know, and she's getting into the weeds on stuff. And she goes, I really need an assistant for me, but I feel bad about it. And I said, well, I don't care how you feel about it. You've needed one for a while. And her top 2 people in the organization told her, you need to go and spend time with Sarah and come back with a plan for you, not us, for you. And she did, and she's been implementing it. But it was part of that, what you were saying, like, okay, where do I need to be and where can other people be? And I saw some of their stuff that they posted on social media, and I can see it already. Like, this person's representing, not her.
I had to learn that with running companies. I had to learn that when I first started, I did not like the CEOing of running business. That's what I call it, CEOing. Absolutely.
Exactly what it is.
I hated it. I'm like, why can't I just do what it is I'm good at? And my CPA was like, because you need to delegate it. You have to, if you're trying to project manage, you want to be policy advisor, you want to be a grants manager, you want to be a hazard mitigation project, like all of the disaster, you want to run it all. And that's not where you are anymore.
Yeah.
So she would call me and say, well, can you get me this? And can you get me? I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll get it to you. I'm down here in the weeds, right?
Yep.
I'm making sure that this gets done because I know how to do it. And she said, that's not why you launched this company, though. That's not, you launched it for a certain level of freedom and to teach others how to do what you do. And you have an amazing team and you all can rise together. And I was like, yeah, you're right. So I feel your friend.
Well,
I feel her pain. I went through it.
Well, I think that as women leaders, I mean, there's a double thing there, right? It's like, well, I don't want to not carry my weight. So,
Exactly.
right? There's a guilt thing for me there. It's like, well, I could do that. I can take care of it. But there's also, that's an easy out from feeling uncomfortable from delegating, because like when you delegate, you have to release and trust.
Control. You have to release the control.
But it gets easier. It does get easier when someone says, well, do you want to look at this? And I says, not really. Not till you think it's about where you want my eyes on it is the last out the door thing. Right?
Now, 7 years ago, I was that way. And I'm just like, I don't understand why I have to do this. Now I don't want to do it at all. Like, why do it require me to look at it? Is it good? Do you think it's good? Okay, let's go.
And I think people really do rise to the level that you let them, and so when you're in there micromanaging and stuff, it's disheartening for people who are skilled.
Yeah.
You wouldn't stand for it.
You have people sitting on your team with 15 years of experience, 20 years of experience. My God, let them do what it is that they do.
Let them shine.
Let them do what they do.
So will you talk to me a little bit about how you acquired all these children and grandchildren?
Yes.
And how you have so much energy.
So I am a mother of 5 that I had naturally, and my daughters tell me I'm crazy because I didn't take any pain med to have them. And they're like, oh my God, no. So I didn't get an epidural. So I had 5, and then I adopted another daughter because, as I joke about all the time, I say, well, 5 wasn't enough. I had to try and make sure that I had one more. And then with my husband, he had 3 kids, prior to us coming together. So that's our 9 children. And I'm an amazing bonus mom, and I have amazing bonus children. We have an awesome relationship. And then I have 9 grandchildren. And so this is the amazing thing about it. I have 5 sons, 5 grandsons, 4 daughters, 4 granddaughters.
Well, you have a very balanced family.
I know, right? I always say that is the divine 9. That's what I call people. I have divine 9, like 9 and 9. We had that for quite some time. We just found out that we're having another grandchild, so we're still chewing on that. Just like, what? So yeah, we are. We're getting there. We're getting there with our own personal tribe, as my mom says. So whenever we have a dinner, it starts out big, right, from just us.
Yeah, if it's like it's just a family dinner, that's a party.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, it is. I grew up in a family with just me and my brother, and I love absolutely having a big family. I absolutely love it. When they were younger, as I said, we struggled, and it was very difficult. But now my children are like my friends, and and it's amazing. So they start from 32 all the way down to 19.
That's a good range. That's a fun range because there's all kinds of developmental things going on in there.
Oh, trust me, we always go, well, what is going on with this? Oh, okay, I know what this is because I dealt with this with Roderick. So I know exactly what to tell Joshua. So it's always those.
Yeah, Joshua, go talk to Roderick.
Yeah. And then now we have Robert, the baby boy. We say, oh, just go talk to Roderick. He'll tell you what he did when he was 19 and going through that. Just go and talk to him.
Yeah. My mom was a single child, and so she ended up having her kids, my dad's kids, right, and then a blended family. She goes, no, I never wanted to be an only child, or I never wanted to have a child who was an only child.
Yes. I just was like, no, I think it's better. And now all of my children are very close. They're very close. They get together and they're out with each other, and it makes me happy, that they're very close. We don't have the family that we do a lot of infighting. Thank God.
I was going to say, you've got enough going on. You don't need that. You don't need that added layer of drama.
No. We get along really good.
I do have a business question to ask you though, because I'm thinking about this diverse portfolio that you have. So how do you maintain your clarity of purpose across it? Are they all similar, or do you have different focuses for that?
Okay, so it's sort of similar to me. Some people may not see it as similar, but for me, disaster recovery transition to personal recovery for me. In my coaching, I don't know why I just did. It was like, okay, when there's a disaster, there's 7 phases to it. And no matter where the client is, and that client, what I mean is either a state, a city, or municipality, I go in and I say, okay, so where are you? What have you gotten done? Okay, so let me give you a technical approach on how we're gonna get you fully recovered. That is the exact same thing that I do with individuals and business owners. Okay, so where are you? Let's look at the phases. Where do you want to be? Because to me, sometimes I just equate it to a personal disaster or business disaster recovery. I just do so. It was very simple for me. And so for me, the goal and the purpose is the same.
Okay.
To get you to an end goal of something that you can live with and be happy. And so that's what happens when a disaster comes. Like we had Helene here in North Carolina. I worked Hurricane Sandy for a while. I worked Michael. I've worked so many major disasters. But the point is that the world goes on. When you have a disaster, we come in, we clean up the streets, we clean up the trees. And guess what people do? They go back to work. They don't even realize that in the background, there's a team of us fixing your roads, we're fixing your buildings, we're doing all of that. That's exactly what happens when tragedy happens in our life. Everybody just goes on. They don't realize you're over here fixing yourself, your business, you're fixing everything while life is just, and everyone around you is just going on about their business. And so I think it's about what do each individual see as recovery? And so to me, it was the same when I transitioned from disaster recovery. And it was a personal thing. I got into disaster recovery because a tornado actually ripped my house apart. And it was, yeah. And so I was like, what do you do? All these people from American Red Cross came in and I asked them, they said, we do disaster recovery. And I remember telling my ex-husband at the time, I said, I think I like this. I think I want to do this. And so now here we are 25 years later, I'm doing that. And so.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way, but that's right. Whatever the disaster is, life does move on. Unless you're the one kind of stuck without knowing what your plan is and the path forward is.
Yeah, and that's what happens with states. You see them on the news. We're not recovering. We don't know what to do. No one's helping us. No, you just don't have someone to come in and give you the technical approach of how to get to the next step. That's the same thing with individuals who call on you and say, I don't know what to do. No, you can do it. You just don't know the technical approach of how to get to the next step.
When you're in the midst of it, it's hard to think. So you do it's so valuable to have that person that says, here's the next step.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it for you, but I can provide I'm always telling my clients now, recovery, you're responsible for your recovery. I'm just here to provide you with some assistance, tell you the best methods, what I feel is the best techniques, give you a little federal policy advice. And that's what we do for our clients. We've done it for so long. So let me tell you now, this is what I've found to be one of the best techniques. Try it. See how it works for you. I've had clients come back to me and say, Shaurice, I tried it. It didn't work. Okay, so let's go back to the drawing board and come up with another technical approach. I've had clients, because I use the mirror technique a lot with my clients, to stand in the mirror. Let me just stand there and talk to yourself. See what you see about yourself. And I had one client that called me and said, I couldn't even do it for 30 seconds.
Too painful?
Yeah, I don't see enough. I said, okay, so how long did you do it? She said, maybe 15. I said, well, tomorrow try 20. Set a timer and do it. And so she called me, 6 months later. I sat in the mirror and I looked at myself for 2 minutes and I said powerful things to myself. said, see, you can do it. We just got to change the approach a little bit. So that's it. That's the thing.
Gotta meet people where they are in their process. Okay. Hey, Shaurice, where is the best place for folks to connect with you?
Okay, so to connect with me, you can go to ShauriceMullins.com. You can reach out to me there. Also, you have I think I've given everybody at Shaurice for my Instagram. The same thing at Shaurice Mullins, on Facebook. I'm just at Shaurice Mullins everywhere. You can reach out to me. But ShauriceMullins.com that is my website as well. And so that's the best way to reach out to me.
Okay. And I know that being in disaster relief, you're a quick responder. So if someone reaches out to you, you'll get back to them. Folks, don't worry about it. We will put her contact information in the show notes for you. So just grab them wherever you're listening to this. And I want to give you the opportunity, Shaurice, as we're wrapping up this interview, to send our listeners off with some words of wisdom or comfort or advice from your perspective.
From my perspective, no matter how hard it is, no matter what it is, you're greater than that. You're bigger than that. And just have the same trust that you have and confidence that you have in someone else. Have it in yourself and know that you're always going to be at the right place at the right time to meet the right person to shift the trajectory of your life.
So there you have it. No labels, no limits podcast listeners. That was an enjoyable conversation with Shaurice. I hope that you got out of it as much as I did. And if you did, please share it with a friend, a colleague, someone you know who could benefit from her wisdom, her experiences, her energy. Check her out. And we'd love it if you'd leave us a rating and review, because that helps us get the podcast out even further into the world. So with that, have a great rest of your day and week.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to the No Labels, No Limits podcast with best-selling author, change agent, and strategic business coach, Sarah Boxx. You can grab the show notes and find out how to work with Sarah at sarahboxx.com/No Labels, No Limits podcast. We'd love this podcast to reach as many people as possible. Please remember to rate, leave a 5-star review, and share the podcast with someone you think would get value from this conversation. Till next time, keep taking those daily action steps to align your purpose to your principles and achieve your goals in business and life.